Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to our production of Turn Your Radio On. This is a nostalgic look at the radio during the 1930s and 1940s, using actual script from this era's program. Tonight, you are the studio audience, and therefore you're part of the program. Take note of the signs hanging behind me. The applaud sign and the laughter sign. When the applaud sign goes on, you applaud, and when it stops, you stop applauding. Let's try it. Great. Now let's try the same thing, but this time with the laughter sign. Great. Well, it looks like we have just about 5 seconds till on air time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another evening of fine programming presented by station WUSC 1825 on your radio dial, with studios located high above Route 19 on Old Fort Couch Road. Tonight's programs include episodes of Jack Armstrong and The Shadow, with visits to Wistful Vista, Allen's Alley, and many other interesting places. So sit back, relax, and turn your radio on to WUSC. And now we go to the network studio in Chicago, Illinois for an exciting episode of Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy.
Jack Armstrong.
Jack Armstrong.
Jack Armstrong.
Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy. Wheaties Breakfast of Champions brings you the thrilling adventures of Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy. Yes, today is really good news day. Here's the story. In the first place, Jack Armstrong starts on a brand new radio adventure. One of the most exciting and dangerous he's ever had. I know you won't want to miss a single episode of this thrilling Jack Armstrong adventure. In the second place, we're welcoming back a lot of Jack Armstrong's old friends. We're mighty glad to have you back with us. And there's a very special welcome for the fellas and girls who are hearing this program for the very first time today. We hope you'll get a lot of thrills and real pleasure out of Jack Armstrong's newest adventure, and that you'll make the acquaintance of those extra good Wheaties flakes right away. Chances are you'll want to climb right on the Wheaties bandwagon with the rest of Jack Armstrong's friends. And it's my bet that you'll say Wheaties have a flavor that's absolutely different and better than any other breakfast dish you've ever tasted. And now, Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy. After their thrilling experiences on Easter Island, Jack, Betty, and Billy have returned to Hudson to continue their studies. Uncle Jim is back in Hudson too, and is engaged in experiments developing a new type of power so that his airplanes can fly tremendous distances without stopping to refuel. Right now, Jack is busy too. In his workshop at home, he is hurriedly putting the finishing touches on his new shortwave receiver. So, Billy and Betty are driving out alone to Uncle Jim's office at the airplane factory with an important-looking letter that they've just picked up at the post office. Listen.
Say, Betty, this looks like an important letter for Uncle Jim. Sure hope it's at the airplane factory.
Well, it ought to be important, Billy, with all those stamps on it.
I'll say, it came all the way from the Philippines in a clipper ship. Gosh, wouldn't I like to make that trip?
Well, I hope that doesn't mean that Uncle Jim will have to go to the Philippines.
I hope it does, Betty. Then maybe we can go with him.
There's a factory. But Billy, the shades to Uncle Jim's office are pulled down.
Say, that's too bad. If he isn't in, we're gonna have to find out where he is and take this letter to him.
Oh, I think he's in. I just saw someone pull the shade aside and look out for a moment.
That's funny. Uncle Jim never has his shades down when he's in. Well, here we are. Get out, Betty, and we'll see you in Uncle Jim's office.
Uncle Jim ought to be here this time of day.
Oh, I don't know, Betty. He's been spending an awful lot of time experimenting with atomic power in that new laboratory that's built in the middle of Nobbs Hill.
His door's closed. We better knock.
I guess he isn't in. Now, wait a minute. This door's not locked. Let's go inside. Nope, not here. Gosh, what's been going on in here?
Why, Billy? Everything is topsy-turvy.
I'll say it is. Look at Uncle Jim's desk. All the drawers are pulled out. Paper is scattered everywhere. Why, even the telephone is knocked over.
And look at those filing cabinets. Billy, somebody's been in them too.
Say, it looks like a cyclone has swept through this office.
I'll bet the cyclone had 2 legs, Billy. Remember, somebody was looking outside through that shade when we came in the garage.
Where could he have gone to? I bet you he slipped out through the next room. The door's open. Come on.
Oh, there's no one in here now. Nothing but Uncle Jim's shortwave radio set.
No, of course he isn't in here now. If he was a burglar or a prowler or someone who had no business in here, he naturally would have beat it the minute he saw us coming. And I bet you he got out this way. He could have come in here as soon as he saw us and then gone into the hallway through that door and made his escape out of the back of the building.
Billy, hadn't we better telephone Uncle Jim right away?
Oh, you bet we had. We used Uncle Jim's private wire, too. Hello? 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 Hello?
What's the matter?
Well, that's funny. The telephone's as dead as a doornail. Gosh, I bet you the wires are cut.
Wait a second, I'll look. They're not cut here, Billy.
Say, that's bad. That means they've been cut from the outside, Betty. Every phone in the building will be dead.
But we can run over to the laboratory in the car. Come on, let's hurry.
No, wait, I've got a better idea. Jack ought to be in on this. I bet you we can get him on Uncle Jim's shortwave transmitter. Jack told me he was going to be working on his receiver this afternoon.
Well, I hope he's testing it and he'll pick up your signal.
There, now as soon as the tubes warm up, we can transmit. There, they're warming up now. J.F. Hudson calling J.A. Hudson. J.F. Hudson calling J.A. Hudson.
Hello, this is J.A. That you, Billy?
That's Jack, he's answering.
Tell him to come right over.
Glad you called, Billy. Gives me a chance to test out my set.
Well, thank goodness it works.
Why? What's the matter?
Well, Betty and I are over here at Uncle Jim's office at the plane factory. Uncle Jim isn't here, but somebody's been searching his papers, Jack. Gosh, this place is a wreck.
Listen, Billy, you and Betty look around for clues, and I'll jump in the car and be right over.
Oh, swell, Jack, and make it fast. Signing off. Gosh, he'll be over in a couple minutes, Betty. Come on, let's see what we can find.
Everything's such a mess. It's going to be hard to find a clue.
Now, gee, Betty, when things are in a mess, it's easier to find clues. I'll examine the desk, and you look over there, all over the rest of the room. He didn't leave much, did he? I mean, much of anything that'd give him away.
I can't find anything either. Well, maybe there's something by the window. Where he was looking through the shade. Billy!
What's the matter? Find something?
No, there's a man outside standing by a car, and he's looking at this window.
Let me see. Move over a little, Betty. Say, he does look suspicious, doesn't he? I don't remember seeing him before, Betty. Gosh, that's a high-powered car he's got there, too.
Billy, maybe he's the man who was in here.
Let's go out and see who he is before he gets away.
Oh, he jumped into his car. Billy, he's leaving. Can't we catch him in our car, Billy?
Oh, not a chance, Betty. Gosh, my bus gets St. Vitus dance when it hits 40, but he's making 60 already.
Oh, here comes Jack. My, he did hurry.
Hey, Jack, did you just see the car that just went by you?
You mean that low slung job that was doing 60?
That's the one. We think he got away in it.
Who?
The man who was rifling Uncle Jim's office.
Boy, I wish I'd known. I'd have forced him into the ditch. I can't catch him now. He's out of sight.
He's been all through Uncle Jim's papers, Jack. Gosh, the office is turned upside down.
Did you find any clues, Billy?
Gosh, not a thing, Jack. Maybe there's some fingerprints around. We didn't really have time for...
Well, fingerprints won't help much now. We can get them later anyhow. Where's Uncle Jim?
He's not here, Jack. We think he's at the atomic laboratory in Nobbs Hill. And the telephone wires are cut here.
They are? Gee, this looks serious.
Oh, let's go over to the laboratory, Jack, and tell Uncle Jim. Anyway, we've got an important letter from the Philippines to deliver to him.
You bet we'll go there, Betty. You two hop in my car and we'll run right over. Let me have that letter, Billy.
Oh, here you are, Jack.
I won't promise to go as fast as that fellow did, but we'll go as fast as the law allows.
But, Jack, do you know why Uncle Jim was spending so much time in the laboratory?
He's working with some other scientists on atom splitting, Betty.
But why?
Don't you remember what Uncle Jim taught us last year about atoms? They're the smallest possible particles of matter, and if you can split them, you release a tremendous amount of energy.
That's right, Betty. And if Uncle Jim can find a way to use that energy, he can make engines 1,000 times more powerful than a gasoline engine.
Oh, Billy, that sounds impossible.
Well, it is impossible, so far. But someday they'll do it, and Uncle Jim thinks it's going to be very soon.
Look, there's the top of Nobbs Hill now. Jack, why is the laboratory built inside the hill?
They've built a huge cyclotron in there.
Well, for gosh sakes, what's a cyclotron?
It's something that generates hundreds of millions of volts. They bombard the atoms with this high voltage, so it's dangerous, awfully dangerous. That's why they've built the cyclotron in a rock chamber right in the middle of the hill. And there's the door that leads into the hill right now.
Look, Jack, look at the car parked there. Isn't that the same one that went by us?
You're right, Billy. It's the very same one.
Then maybe the very same man is inside the laboratory now.
I bet he's in Uncle Jim's laboratory office now. Hold on. Get out quickly. We'll see if he's in there. I'll open the door for you, Betty. There's a long hallway, and Uncle Jim's office is at the other end. Come on, Billy.
There's a light in his office, Jack. Uncle Jim must be there.
Either Uncle Jim or that other chap.
The door's closed. Somebody's in there. I can see a shadow through the glass.
Jumpin' Jiminy Jack, that's not Uncle Jim in there. He's too thin.
We'll soon find out. Look out, Billy. I'm going in. Say, who are you? And what are you doing in here?
Who are you? By what right you come in here?
By what right? Say, we've got a lot more right to come in here than you have.
Jack, he is the same man that broke into Uncle Jim's office. He's done the same thing right here. Gone all through Uncle Jim's papers and everything.
Watch him closely, Jack. He's about to do something.
I'm watching, Betty. You! How about explaining just what you're doing in here, searching through those destined files?
What I do here is my business. I go now. Stand aside.
Oh, no you don't. Quick, Billy, close that door.
Got it.
You're not gonna leave here until we get Uncle Jim. He'll find out why you're ransacking his papers.
Stand aside, I tell you. It will be the worst for you.
I'm staying right here by this door, and you're not going out until we get Captain Fairfield. Betty, see if you can find Uncle Jim.
Oh, look out, Jack!
Get out of my way.
Oh, no you're not. Take that!
Oh boy, Jack.
Will
boy,
you stand aside
boy,
now?
you
or
gave it to him right in the chin.
Smash this chair over your head.
Look out, Jack! He's picking up a chair!
Oh, watch out, Jack. He looks dangerous.
He is dangerous, but he's not gonna get by us. Billy, when he swings at us, I'll duck and you go for his knees.
But he may get you.
No, I'll duck him. You give him the old tackle. Look out, he's coming.
All right, you asked for it.
Oh, I got him, Jack. Oh, hurry up, Betty.
We've got him.
I got him now.
Well, hold on to him, Billy. I got him too. Hold his legs still. I've got his arms pinned.
I'm trying to.
Betty, lend a hand. Get that picture wire off the wall. Quick.
I'll try
gotta
that.
hold on,
I'll stand
Jack.
on the
Keep
desk
going.
and try to reach
Keep on
it.
holding him, Billy.
I've got his shoulders down on the floor. I gotta hold on, Jack.
He'll never break away from this hold. Hurry up and give me the wire from that picture.
I've got it!
All right, Betty, twist it
Yeah,
around
Betty,
his
hold
ankles. Twist it tight now.
Okay, Jack, I
Get him
am.
off.
As tight as I can.
Good. Climb on that desk and get the wire from that other picture.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Oh, watch out, Jack. His arms are working loose.
Oh, no, you don't.
Careful, Jack.
Grab his other arm, Billy. I'll sit on his head.
Oh, I dropped the picture, but I've got the wire, Jack.
Well, hurry up. We've got him for the moment. Here, wrap one end around his wrist
working
this
loose.
way.
Okay.
Here, Billy. Help me hold his arms again.
All right, Jack. We've got him now.
Tie it to the other wrist, Betty. That a girl. Wrap it around and around.
Yep.
There you are. Let's get off him, Billy. He's trussed up now.
Oh, gosh, that was a tough one, Jack. Well, Mr. Whoever you are, now I guess you'll have to wait until Uncle Jim comes.
Ah, this is an outrage. You will pay for this.
Well, if this is an outrage, why don't you yell for help? We aren't keeping you from yelling.
I tell you, you will pay for this. I shall not forget.
Let's look at those knots, Billy. Good job, Betty. They ought to hold him. And now let's go find Uncle Jim and see what's going on here.
Say, it looks as though Jack and Bill and Betty have really stumbled with some excitement, doesn't it? But who is this mysterious stranger? And why is he interested in Uncle Jim's papers? Has Uncle Jim some important secrets he's trying to guard? Listen in, all of you, at this same time tomorrow and see what happens inside Nobbs Hill with Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy. Say, here's a riddle that's mighty easy to solve. How can you have a different breakfast every morning and yet have the same breakfast every morning? Well, the answer is easy as A, B, C. It's a breakfast of champions. Let's say you had a big bowl of Wheaties with milk and cream, along with a big glass of orange juice this morning. All right. Then tomorrow, you can have Wheaties with milk and bananas. Next day, you can top off your Wheaties with milk and sliced peaches, and so on. It's always a breakfast of champions no matter what Wheaties and fruit combination you pick. And say, take it from me, variety like that helps make breakfast a real high spot in your day. Get Wheaties right away, then remind your mother to fix you a different breakfast of champions every morning. Saying goodbye until tomorrow for General Mills, makers of Wheaties, breakfast of champions, who have just presented another episode of Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy.
Wasn't that exciting, folks? Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for another episode of Jack Armstrong. And now, let's listen to this. Now it's time to go to New York and join the Johnson's Wax program with Fibber McGee and Molly.
The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat presents Fibber McGee and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Bia Benadarin, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The script is by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie. Songs by Abby Armstrong and Miss Bonnie Baker. Before we join Fibber McGee and Molly, here's a clever little tune sung for us by Abby Armstrong. Did you ever get friendly with somebody on a vacation trip and maybe pop off a little bit about your 40-acre estate, your large staff of servants, your hot and cold swimming pools, and your swollen bank account, and your this and your that, and then get a letter from that somebody a year later saying he was coming to visit you? Well, that's the problem Mr. McGee is taking up with his wife right now as we join Fibber McGee and Molly.
Oh, this is murder, kiddo. I really got myself in a jam this time. Old Harry is due at Union Station at 2 p.m., and that gives me 3 hours to make a millionaire out of myself.
You know, dearie, I thought at the time you were spreading it on a little thick to Mr. Sedgwick.
Yeah.
You can get yourself into more spots than a flea on a leopard.
Yeah, well, my gosh, how'd I know I was ever going to see the guy again? And he was pretty nice up there in Toronto, you know.
Oh, yes.
The least I could do was make him think he was entertaining a big shot.
Well, you didn't have to go quite so big, dearie.
Well, I
I
was only...
managed to keep a straight face when you told him about your private trout stream with the sunburn lotion mixed in to keep the trout from getting speckled.
Oh, well, that was
And I
just...
never lifted an eyebrow when you described your private landing field with 14 runways and personal wind tunnels.
Yeah, but gee whiz, you
You've
can't
got
just
a
go...
wind tunnel, all right, running from the bottom of your head to the top of your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Heavenly days the way you piled it on.
Yeah, I know. I was a chump. But what am I going to do now? Old Harry is doing a couple of hours, and if he sees the way we really live, after what I told him, I'm afraid he'll think I'm a kind of a four-flusher.
Oh, no.
Yeah, seriously. I'm afraid he might.
Well, as I always say, sweetheart, if you insist on painting fancy pictures, you must expect to get stuck with some wet brushes. How many rooms do you tell him our house has?
14, I think. That old Harry just had an 11-room house, and I didn't want to make him feel underprivileged, so I held it down to 14 rooms.
I see. You may be a braggart, love, but you're a tactful braggart. How many cars are we supposed to have?
Well, not counting the 2 station wagons, the Jeep, and the light truck I use on my golf course, I think I said we had 4 Cadillacs and a Duesenberg. And hey,
Yes?
I wonder how much it would cost to rent the Wistful Vista Country Club for the day.
Oh,
Yeah, we can take old Harry out there and tell him it was our house, see?
this is Tuesday. It's ladies' day at the country club.
Oh,
Gonna be 50 or 60 women sitting around.
so what? I told Harry you entertained a lot. That makes it even better.
Yeah, but how will you explain away the cigar counter and the magazine stand?
Huh? Oh, that's a cinch. I'll tell Harry I gave the magazine and cigar concession to a poor relative on account of he wouldn't accept any charity. I'll tell him that I fixed it up right good.
Come in! Oh, Mayor Latrivia! Do come in, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hi, Latriv. Oh, what do you think of my chances of running the country club for the rest of the day?
Very poor.
Why, Your Honor?
Well, in the first place, it's Ladies' Day out there, and you'd have as much of a chance of yanking the club out from under them as I'd have of winning the National Open with a bent poker.
My gosh, it sure be perfect for my purpose. Tennis court, swimming pool, 18-hole course, pitch and putt driving range, steam room, everything. I could sure make good old Harry with that setup.
Am I late?
Late for what, Mr. Mayor?
Well, I seem to have come in the middle of the second act. I don't understand what's going on.
Oh, well, here's how it is, Latriv. Last year up in Canada, I met a nice guy named Harry, see? Entertained us all over the place. Hospitality coming out our ears. He rolled out so many red carpets for us, I still got pink lint in my cuffs.
So,
So, to reciprocate in his own odd way, McGee told him about the McGee estate in Wistful Vista. All about our townhouse, country estate, private yacht, and a midget butler for guests who wanted a short beer before breakfast.
My gosh, I had to be polite, didn't I? Didn't want Harry to think he was entertaining a couple of peasants, did I?
Well, anyway, Your Honor, this man is due to drop in for a visit with us in the next couple of hours.
Yeah.
And here we are in our little 6-room mansion with a sweeping 72-inch driveway. And if he doesn't care for hot buttered root beer, he'll have a very dry visit.
McGee, has Dr. Gamble ever checked you for hoof and mouth disease?
Hoofing, huh?
Every time you open your mouth, you seem to put your hoof in it. Look, I have a good idea.
Wait till I move the furniture back. A good idea in this house is going to crowd us a little. What is it, Your Honor?
Yeah, if you can get me off this spot, kid, you're my friend for life.
Oh, threats will get you nowhere, McGee. Now listen, I have only 1 Cadillac and no golf course, and no swimming pool. But I have a 10-room house, a cook, and my maid Frida is quite satisfactory. Now why don't you take over my establishment for the day to entertain your friends?
Oh, McGee, this looks like the answer.
Latrivia, you're a man's man.
Yeah.
And I'm the man. Thanks, old man, you saved my bacon. Canadian bacon, that is.
Well, if you're going to go the whole hog, you'll need it. I'll tell Grimes the cook and Frida my maid that you are master of the house, and to treat you accordingly. You can trust Frida not to let the cat out of the bag.
Why not? I think it's more realistic if there are a few pets around.
Besides, we like cats. I had one once I just loved. A brown cat with a very short tail. A chocolate Maltese. I think
Just
it was.
wait a minute. When I said Frida wouldn't let the cat out of the bag, I was only saying that
There's no way to keep a cat anyway, Mr. Mayor. My goodness, the poor little thing will get claustrophobia.
Don't let the Humane Society hear about you keeping your Siamese in a sack, Latriv. Keeping a puss in a poke is liable to get you a poke in the puss.
I'll tell you, Frida Frida was the, she
Huh?
did, I was merely saying that letting the bat out of the rag out of the crap, I I don't even own a cat!
Oh, you mean it's just a little kitten? Well, that's worse.
That ain't good cat psychology, Latriv. Keep it in the bag like that. Make friends with it. Get him to love you. Then he'll stick by you through thick and thin. As long as the milk holds out. When I had...
Oh, this is all a lot of... when I said the rat, the crag, and it all started when I said Frida wouldn't let the bag out of the rat. I never did bring it up. It was you. You were the...
Wave to the mayor, Mr. McGee. He's calling to you.
You who, Your Honor?
You who? We were... McGee,
Yes?
I believe you wanted to borrow my home for the day.
Oh, no, Mr. Mayor. After all, you're not going to renege just because...
Gee, we were just kidding, Latriv. My gosh, after all you've
Oh, be
done-
quiet. Here are my keys.
Oh.
I'll let Frida know you're coming.
Oh, boy. Thanks, Kate.
Well, I'd like to tell you one thing about the house.
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
What is it, old boy?
The back stairs.
Yeah?
Well, they're very steep and quite dark.
Yeah?
If you use them, McGee, I suggest you take a fast run at them with your eyes shut. Good day.
And now, Miss Bonnie Baker singing Oh Johnny.
All the girls are crazy about a certain little lad. Although he's very, very bad, he could be oh so good when he wanted to. Bad or good, he understood that love and other things. For every girl in town followed him around just to hold his hand and sing. Oh Johnny, how you can love. Oh Johnny, heavens above, you make my sad heart jump with joy. And when you're near, I just can't sit still a minute. I just, oh Johnny, please tell me, dear, what makes me love you so? You're not handsome, it's true, but when I look at you, I just, oh Johnny, oh.
Oh, isn't it exciting, McGee? I just love railroad stations.
Yeah.
The hustle and the bustle, and the people coming and going. Did you see that beautiful new steamliner with the glass roof that just pulled out?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to ride on that. How can you undress in an upper berth with a glass roof over you? It ain't decent.
My goodness, I never thought of that. Maybe they just have them over the observation. Say, is the train from Toronto on time?
I don't know. I've been looking it up in this timetable, but I can't make anything out of it. Look, it says Toronto northbound. Read up.
Mr. Sedgwick will be southbound. Read down.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to bend way over to read it.
Oh,
Let's ask the information booth right over here.
that's a good idea. Hey, sis, we'd like some information, please.
Well, sir, you may certainly have it, because dispensing information, exactly what we're here for, to serve the public dispensing information.
What we'd like to know is when we...
Believe me, you'd be surprised to know what kind of information we get asked about. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
One lady yesterday asked what the mean annual rainfall in South Guatemala, and also what was the length of Jerry Colonna's mustache. And I just had to look up once because both are 9 inches. Answers both questions, 9 inches.
Yeah, but what we wanted to find out was just that...
Another man asked his daughter was home from school and had a bad case of Dizzy Gillespie. And what did recommend? Well, my goodness, I'm a bebop fan myself. Just what did you wish to know, sir? Just what?
The train from Toronto. If it's on time, and what time is it?
It's due any minute, on track 6. And the reason I know is because my sister Selma's on it. She's been in Toronto visiting some people. She just loves Toronto, and she spends a lot of time up there for the winter sports. And believe me, she knows them all. Old and young, she knows them.
Well, Toronto is a wonderful town. I'll bet Selma just loves...
Oh, you know Selma. Well, now, isn't it a small world? She's been here any minute, because I'm meeting her, and she'll stay at my house because she didn't get any hotel.
Now arriving on track 6, the Torontoan from Toronto in Brantford, Canada.
Hey, look! There's Harry!
Hey, Harry!
Hi, Harry!
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Sedgwick! Here we are! It's us!
The Rich McGee's. Remember us, Harry?
Yes. Hello there. Nice to see you again, Mrs. McGee. And you too, Quentin.
Who to?
He means me, Molly. Up in Canada, I had to admit my real name was Quentin. Quentin Formsby McGee III. An old family name, Harry.
Yes, you must visit his ranch in California sometime too, Mr. Sedgwick.
Yeah.
San Quentin, we call it.
But you don't go bothering with formalities, Harry. Everybody here just calls me Fibber. On account of I'm a blue blood in every fiber of my being.
That's fiber.
It is. Well, these ignorant peasants around here wouldn't know that. Have a nice trip, Harry.
Splendid. Thank you very much. And you're both looking very well.
Oh, we're fine, Mr. Sedgwick. Just fine. My housework keeps me...
My dear girl, you don't call ordering 13 servants around housework, do you? I'm afraid she's kind of pampered, Harry. But I'm glad you think I look well. Play a lot of golf, you know. A little bit game hunting, some yachting. Can't spend all one's time clipping coupons in a stuffy old bank vault, you know.
Oh, that reminds me, McGee. I'll be wanting to cash a check while I'm in town. Of which bank did you say you were a director?
Did he say he was a director of a bank, or he would direct you to a bank, Mr. Sedgwick? Because...
Always joking, eh, old girl?
Yes.
I'm with the Third National, Harry. Just keep my personal account there, though. Do my big banking in New York, naturally.
In the corn exchange. But if Mr. Sedgwick is a little short on cash, McGee, can't you tide him over with a few thousand or whatever you happen to have on you?
Why...
Oh,
sure.
I don't need very much for now. 500 or so will carry me until I can make some other banking arrangements.
500? Why, what, you think I'd let our guests creep around this town with a paltry $50,000? My gosh, what if you should want to buy something? Oh, we can talk that over later, Harry. Let's get to our townhouse and let you wash up a bit, what?
Well, fine idea, but your townhouse, I was looking forward to seeing your country estate. By the way, did the Colonel's leg heal up all right?
The Colonel?
His leg? Oh, the Colonel's, oh sure. He healed up real good, Harry. He's gone back to Honolulu. He's in command of an airfield out there.
A polo pony in charge of an airfield.
Why, he must mean Colonel. Your best polo pony, McGee, remember?
Him! I almost forgot about him, Harry, on account of I gave up polo. Game's getting too common. Bad element creeping into it. Chaps with no background, they mean well, but you know, definitely not our type.
Your wife looks a little ill, McGee. We'd better be going along.
Oh, I'm all right, Mr. Sedgwick. It's all the hot air in here that gets me down. Bring Mr. Sedgwick's bags, dearie.
What? I carry luggage? Don't be ridiculous, girl. I say, porter, bring this luggage to the carriage entrance. That's where I have the Cadillac waiting, Harry. The Cadillac. Right this way. By George, Harry. This is a fine day. Well, here we are, Harry. Frida will bring your bags in. Frida, that's my maid. Right up the steps here, Harry.
Very handsome home you have here, McGee. Lived here very long?
My goodness, Mr. Sedgwick. It seems like no time at all to us. I hardly know my way around it myself.
We spend so much time at our country place and at our shooting lodge and our yacht, you see.
Ah, there's Frida. We're home.
I beg your Oh, yes. Home, yes. Indeed you are, madam. Do come in.
Frida, this is Mr. Sedgwick from Toronto. He's going to spend the day with us.
Hello, Frida.
Ah, Mr. Sedgwick. A pleasure, sir. Your hat, sir.
Certainly it's his hat. Think he goes around stealing hats?
Now, please, McGee. Frida. Will you get Mr. Sedgwick's bags and put the car in the garage?
Immediately, madam. What room will Mr. Sedgwick occupy, madam?
Oh, throw his stuff in the first door you come to upstairs, Frida.
My, I think Frida is a wonderful name for a maid.
Oh, thank you, madam. However, that is not my real name. My real name is Maid. But how can you call a maid maid? Sounds silly. Thank you, madam.
Isn't it nice to be home again? Do come into the drawing room, Mr. Sedgwick. Right in here, I think. No, it's in here. My goodness, this house is so big I still get lost in it.
A lovely home, Mrs. McGee, and very handsomely furnished.
Well, what's the use of having dough, Harry, if you don't fling it around a little? Easy come, easy go, you know.
We're sort of roughing it here, Mr. Sedgwick. Camping out, you might say. Heavenly days, if we run out of rosewood to burn in the fireplace, we use just plain old bird's eye maple or mahogany. Solid, of course. No veneer.
Well, this is a very handsome room. Isn't that a Picasso above the fireplace?
Huh? Oh, no, that's just an oil painting, Harry. Well, we've got lots of them. I've been trying to get Da Vinci to paint my wife's portrait, but you know how these artists are. Money means nothing to them.
I'm sure it means nothing to Da Vinci.
Nah, he's as independent as a hog on ice. Well, Molly, how about serving some tea? Ring for the cook, will you?
Where do I ring?
Oh, just stamp around under the coffee table. There ought to be a buzzer there someplace. You see, Harry, we usually have somebody just standing around to push buttons for us, but you know how the servant problem is. Oh, good. Here's Frida.
May I show Mr. Sedgwick to his room, sir?
Thanks, Frida. Please do.
Yes, Frida. And please tell the cook, what's her name?
His name is Grimes, madam.
Oh, yes. Well, tell Grimes we'll have tea in here in 15 minutes.
Certainly, madam. This way, please, Mr. Sedgwick. I took the liberty, sir, of laying out some fresh linen for you.
Oh, good old Frida. She is really a treasure. I wonder where I found her.
Have another cookie, Mr. Sedgwick? And some more sandwiches? How about some more tea?
Oh, not a thing. Thank you, Mrs. McGee. No, everything is delicious, but I'm simply stuffed. Ah, my, it's been a pleasant afternoon.
I'll take some more cookies, Molly. Thanks. Yes, it's been swell getting with you like this, Harry, old man, in our own mansion like this. Pass Harry the dollar cigars, Molly. Where's the cigars? The dollar cigars.
Well, I would enjoy a good cigar.
Well, I haven't seen the McGee. Although we spend so little time here, I don't know where anything is. I don't even know where I am.
Where's the dollar cigars? You know how servants are, Harry. Frida keeps putting the dollar cigars in different places like this all the time.
Maybe they're in the humidor here, McGee? Yes. Yes, here they are.
That's just like Frida, putting them in a humidor. Help yourself, Harry. Take a handful. They're only $1 apiece. I'll stuff a few in my pocket, too, for after a while.
Well, they look very good. Well, I just hate to think of leaving, McGee, but it's getting close to 5 o'clock, and I'd better be getting ready to rush off.
Well, I wish you could stay, boy, but if you have to, you have to.
Yes, I'd better be getting along. I certainly want to thank you for the lovely afternoon. It was grand.
Well, we've enjoyed it too, Mr. Sedgwick. We do so little entertaining in this home.
You said it. Well, I wish you could spend the night with us, but as long as you can't, hey, where can I drive you?
Well, I promised my wife I'd look up her cousin, McGee, and I suppose I'll have to spend the night at his house, wherever that is.
Your wife's cousin lives in Wistful Vista? Do you have his address, Mr. Sedgwick?
No, I'll get him at his office, though. He works at your city hall, some sort of official, I believe.
The city hall? Say, we know a lot of people in the city.
What's his name, Mr. Sedgwick?
Latrivia.
Oh, well, it's a small world, isn't it? And I feel just small enough to be comfortable. Oh, Frida, the car, please. The Cadillac.
You get a clean floor, a beautifully polished and protected floor with Johnson's liquid cleaning and polishing wax. And here's a way you can get those advantages with unbelievable ease and speed. Use the Johnson's Beauty Floor Electric Polisher. The Johnson Beauty Floor Electric Polisher brings out the luster in just a few seconds. All you do is glide the brush across the floor, and the big whirling brush does all the work. Tomorrow, buy a Beauty Floor Electric Polisher from your Johnson dealer, or rent one by the day if you prefer.
Well, I'm glad that's over with, McGee. Where's the hatchet?
The hatchet? Well, out in the garage. What you gonna do with the hatchet?
Chop down that little cherry tree in the backyard?
Huh?
If I can be as deceitful as this on Washington's birthday, I might as well go all the way. I'm gonna chop down that cherry tree and then say I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Good night.
Good night, all.
The makers of Johnson Wax and Johnson Self-Polishing Glow Coat, Racine, Wisconsin, and Brantford, Canada bring you Fibber McGee and Molly each week at this time. Be with us again next Tuesday night, won't you?
That Fibber McGee can sure get himself in a fix, can he? And now we have a special treat. With us in our WUSC studio tonight are Miss Dorothy Platt and Miss Anna Jules, who will sing Harold Allen's Stormy Weather.
There's no sun up in the sky, stormy weather. Since my man and I ain't together, keeps raining all the time. Life is bare, gloom and misery everywhere, stormy weather. Just can't get my poor self together. I'm weary all the time, so weary all the time. Can't go on, everything I had is gone, stormy weather. Since my man and I ain't together, keeps raining all the time.
Thank you, Anna. And now, as a contrast to the escapades of Fibber McGee and Molly, we go back to the New York studios and listen in as The Shadow solves another mystery.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows. Ho, 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 ho,
The Shadow, mysterious character who aids the forces of law and order, is in reality Lamont Cranston, wealthy young man about town. As the Shadow, Cranston is gifted with hypnotic power to cloud men's minds so that they cannot see him. Cranston's friend and companion, the lovely Margot Lane, is the only person who knows to whom the voice of the invisible Shadow belongs. Today's story, The Ghost Building.
Jerome Need speaking. Yes. Yes, we just completed purchase of the ground this morning. That's right. And in your story, you can say that the building we intend to erect will be the largest and finest in the world. We're calling it the Coast Building. That's right. Not at all. Goodbye. Oh, Miss Carlson, why, who are you? What are you doing in here?
Now, Mr. Need, don't get excited.
Who are you?
You are the head of the construction company of this proposed new coast building. Are you not?
That's right. Now look, if you're a reporter, I've already given the story.
I'm not a reporter. I've come here to warn you not to try to erect the coast building.
Now listen, if this is a prank, it's in pretty poor taste.
This is not a prank. It is simply a forecast of death and torture if the present plans go through.
I don't know who you are, nor do I take any stock in your forecast.
I'm sorry, but you're wrong on both counts. My forecast must come true. And you do know me.
How? From where?
From the past. It's slight wonder that you don't recognize me after all this time. But one day, Jerome Need, you will remember me all too well. You'll pay me back in full, all that you owe me.
Hey, watch yourself. You almost missed that rivet.
All right, I was just thinking.
You ain't supposed to think. You're supposed to catch rivets.
That's what I was thinking. Years from now, when my kid says to me, Pop, what'd you have to do with putting up the largest building in the world?
You'll say what?
I'll say, guy threw a rivet, and I caught the rivet. Then a guy threw a rivet, and I caught the rivet. Then a guy threw a rivet.
Doesn't want us coming out. Oh, don't we know like that? Michael, go!
Watch out above, we're swinging in the girder.
Hey, boss, look at that lad up there. His back's turned and he don't see the girder.
Holy stop that crane, quick!
Oh, look out up there!
Watch it, boy!
Look out! It hit him! It hit him, boss! He's falling!
Too many dying, that's what. Too many die on this job.
Hey, you gotta take chances in this business, Joe.
Not me, I don't. Too many dead men in the foundation of this building now. I got Ann and the kids to think about.
Ah, you're talking screwy. We're safer up here than them guys on the street. Besides, Ann and them kids gotta eat, don't they?
Sure, don't worry, I'll feed them. But not from this job. I'm going down below and quitting now. This coast building is jinxed.
Okay, good luck, Joe.
Yeah, so long, kid.
So long, Joe. Hey, watch your step. Joe, hold on!
Oh, Lamont, I thought you weren't coming.
I'm sorry I'm late, Margot.
Well, you know there's nothing duller than a dedication ceremony, and I was beginning to think I'd have to sit through it all alone.
Why, that's a fine thing to say, Margot, when I'm about to introduce you to Robert Lewis, the architect who designed this coast building.
Oh, dear.
Well, do you think you'd like to meet Miss Lane after that remark, Bob?
Of course I would. I even agree with her statement. How do you do, Miss Lane?
Hello, Mr. Lewis.
Say, this is a distinguished gathering. Look who's among those present, our good police commissioner. Hello there, Weston.
Hello, Lamont. Margot?
Hello, Commissioner.
Do you know Bob Lewis?
Sure, yes. Glad to see you, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Well, what brings you here, Commissioner?
Duty. Just duty. These things bore me stiff. You waste half a day listening to an old stuffed shirt like Jerome Need take a lot of bows and lay a cornerstone.
Why, Commissioner? Is that a nice way to talk about one of our leading citizens?
Leading citizen, my eye. Need is as crooked as a corkscrew. Why, if he didn't hold such a high political office, the judge would have thrown him out years ago. Furthermore,
Ladies and gentlemen. Shh.
Here's your friend, Mr. Need now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to dedicate this glorious edifice. Although there were several unavoidable delays in the building's construction, we've still finished on schedule. And today, I'm justly proud to present to our fair city the world's largest and most modern structure. I would like, at this time...
Enough! Enough of your lies, Mr. Need.
What was that?
Someone's cut in on the public address system.
But there's nobody standing beside him.
I shall continue your speech for you, Mr. Need.
Where
I
is-
shall continue and tell the truth
Where's-
about this great building of yours.
Where is it coming from?
It is useless to attempt to find me, so you'll just have to listen.
Let's hear what he has to say, Margot.
That's better. Many months ago, I warned Jerome Need not to try to erect the coast building. These warnings were not heeded. Reciting the glories of this building, Mr. Need did not mention one very important thing that went into its construction. Human life.
Human life?
Yes. The foundation of this building is not all steel, brick, and concrete. There is also blood. Blood of the men who died during its construction.
That's a lie! That's a lie!
Be quiet. I have another warning for you, Jerome Need, and all of you listening shall be my witnesses. The ghosts of those men who died will return to haunt the coast building. In fact, before too long, the coast building will be known as the Ghost Building. Good afternoon.
Hello, I'm Mr. Cranston. Is Mr. Lewis in?
Yes, come right in. He's expecting you. Oh, Bob, Mr. Cranston is here.
All right.
I'm Bob's Uncle John.
How do you do, sir? This is Miss Lane.
Hello, Lamont. Miss Lane, won't you come into the study?
Thank you.
I'll get some tea ready, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Uncle John. Right in here, Lamont. Miss Lane?
Has anyone learned how that voice cut in on Mr. Need's speech yesterday?
Yes, another mic was hooked up. It came from inside the building.
But you haven't learned who it was.
No, frankly, I'm worried. The Coast Building meant everything to me. I don't know if I've ever told you my childhood, Lamont. I was brought up in an orphanage. And ever since I left it, I've had one aim in life, to become a successful architect.
And you certainly are.
Well, I thought so, until yesterday. This Coast Building is really haunted. I'm ruined.
But surely that voice was just making an empty threat.
I don't think it was an empty threat. See this today's paper? It's in the classified section.
Single white female, mid-20s, searches for tall, dark crime fighter who has amazing mental abilities. Oh, my mistake. To Henry Johnson, president of the Johnson Corporation. This is not a warning. It is a forecast. The ghosts of those who died in the Coast Building return today to claim their own.
Johnson has offices in the Coast Building.
But a public threat like this wouldn't be carried out.
I tried to call Johnson, but he was busy. I left word for him to call me back.
Maybe we should go over there and see if he's okay.
Hello? Yes, Mr. Need. What? When? I see. I'll be right over.
What's the trouble, Bob?
Henry Johnson was just found in his office in the Coast Building, stabbed to death.
Going down.
Can I crowd in here?
Move to the rear of the car.
We'll make room for you, Bill.
Oh, hello, Fred.
Aren't you going home a little early?
To tell you the truth, I read that new message in the paper today. Did you see it? Said anyone using the elevators at 5 o'clock would die. So I figured I'd beat the rush.
Superstitious?
Nah, just careful.
It's a good thing you're not superstitious. Your watch is wrong. It's exactly 5 o'clock now.
Hey! Hey, this car's out of control!
Get wild, Rue Creamer, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get wild, Rue Creamer, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie. Keeping all those gals away, hire handsome, get a bottle right away. Your druggist has it, keeps you looking neat all day. Your cigarette barber keeps you looking neat all day.
And once again, we return to the Ghost Building.
This is the last one I'm gonna wash.
Stop grumbling.
Did you see the paper this morning? There's an ad in it, see? The ad says a window cleaner is gonna fall sometime today. And brother, I'm not gonna be that guy. No, sir. My safety belt's breaking.
Quick, give me your hand.
I can't!
Extra! More deaths in the Coast Building. People are moving out. Read all about it. Coast Building becomes Ghost Building. Extra! Extra!
Look, Mr. Need, I didn't ask you here to get your opinion about laws. That goes for you too, Mr. Lewis.
Commissioner, I'm just trying to help. As Miss Lane and Mr. Cranston know, I want to solve this mystery too.
That's true, Commissioner.
Well, let me handle it.
What have you done so far?
Right now, I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder.
Why, of all the...
What are your reasons, Commissioner?
I've been checking those classified ads in the newspapers. They have all been sent in from different postal zones, and they were paid for by different names.
How could I be suspect?
In the first place, I've known for years that you are a crook.
Why, you...
I told the newspapers not to print the last warning they got. They gave it to me. It was addressed to a Jules Seaborn. He's one of the few people still left in the Coast Building. It said he would be killed this afternoon.
Have you warned Seaborn?
I left word for him to call me, but now it doesn't matter. The would-be murderer is right here.
Weston, I demand to know why you say that.
You were too sure of yourself this time. This last message to the papers was paid for by someone who signed D-E-N.
Den?
D-E-E-N.
Oh, Dean.
Dean is need spelled backwards.
Oh, I'm beginning to understand. Weston, was there a first initial?
As if you didn't know. The first initial was J, for Jerome.
I thought so. John Dean. He was the one who warned me not to put up the Coast building.
Who are you talking about?
I can't say just yet.
Can't say. Look, I don't even know what's going on here. Hello, Commissioner Weston speaking.
This is Jules Seaborn.
I'm glad you've called. A newspaper ad says you will be the next victim in the Coast building, and I wanted to...
I see. Well, I wouldn't worry about that. Who's going to kill me at noon in the world's largest building? My intern's right outside the door, and... Who's that? What do you want here? Put down that gun. I said put
Seaborn!
Who's your murderer now? I know this is illegal entry, Margot, but it must be done. There we are. May I have that flashlight?
Here.
You'd better stay close to me, Margot. There have been so many murders here in the Ghost Building. Maybe what I seek in Mr. Lewis's office is well guarded.
I'll stay close. Don't worry.
Let's look inside this desk. What's this?
Is that what you were after? That letter?
It's not what I came after, but it might settle this case. I'll show you what.
What are you doing here?
Steady, Margot.
Answer me. Why are you here? You'll answer me now or I'll shoot.
Now look. We haven't any. Put out that flashlight, Margot, quickly.
Why you?
No, it's no use, Margot. He's gotten away, and we can't break through this paneling.
Oh, Lamont, where could he have gone?
Hey, do you see that trail of blood leading across the floor? I must have wounded him.
Oh, Lamont, what can we do?
I'm going to pay a call on Robert Lewis's home as the Shadow.
There now, let me see. There's windows on the ground floor and space for a store. And what was that?
I am known as the Shadow.
Where are you? I don't see anyone.
I'm standing right beside you, Mr. Lewis. But you needn't bother to look for me. By my hypnotic power, I've made myself quite invisible to your eyes.
Why are you here?
You are not Robert Lewis. You are Robert Dean, the son of John Dean, the man you call your uncle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Then perhaps if I remind you of a letter, it will help. A letter postmarked to you at the orphanage, 1908. I checked with the orphanage and found that Robert Dean had been left there in 1908, at the age of 3. His mother had died and his father had been sent to prison to serve a 40-year term. He was sentenced for the attempted murder on the person of Jerome Need, his business associate. Your father was released in the October of 1940 for good behavior, nevertheless, and he has since made good his revenge on Jerome Need.
You can't prove that.
Oh, but I can, by the money order which he signed with the name J.D.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because you share your father's guilt.
No.
You built those secret passageways in the building, and I have an idea that you even have blueprints, secret blueprints of your work. Now, where are they?
You'll never get those.
So you have them then, in that drawer that you involuntarily reached for.
Keep away from me. You should never get those prints.
Oh, yes, I will. Don't put out that light.
You're too late, Mr. Shadow.
Not too late to see those prints. And take them.
Give them to me. Hey, give them back to me.
You'll never get them now.
No? Then you won't get me either.
Lewis! Lewis!
At least I have the blueprints, Margot. Here, take a look at them.
What are those circled numbers, Lamont?
Well, number 1 was Johnson's office. Number 2, the elevator shaft. Number 3, the window ledge from which the cleaner fell. Number 4, Seaborn's office.
But what is number 5? That's circle 2.
Well, wait. That's the conference room of the Board of Trustees. That must be the planned scene of the next murder. If another vicious killing is to be averted, we must get to the ghost building at once. Come along, Margot. Weston's right down here.
All right.
I hope we're not too late. Oh, there's Weston. Commissioner.
Shh! Wait a minute. Not so loud, Cranston. There's a meeting going on in there.
I know. That's why I'm here. You've got to stop that meeting at once.
Oh, is that so?
Now look, Weston. I happen to know that the next murder or murders in this building will take place in that room.
Oh, you mean that 10 board members all together, somebody's going to sneak in there and stab them all? Need and his directors are holding a meeting in there, and at their request, they're not going to be disturbed. Now, that's my orders.
And, Commissioner, you know how I love to break your orders.
Hey, get away from that door.
No, no.
Listen, Cranston, I'm running this show.
Weston, put a handkerchief to your face at once. This room is full of poisonous gas.
Holy Moses!
We must open the windows, quickly.
Well, those men, were they alive in there?
There's a chance they might be.
But how is it done? I've been at the door.
Don't talk, you fool. There we are. We've taken as much of this as we can stand. Come on. Are you all right, Weston?
Yes,
Get some men in there. Bring those directors out.
Yes, Senate, Hill, come on, you guys.
Lamont, what happened?
That room is full of poisonous gas.
Oh, my.
It must have been released through the ventilating system.
Are they dead?
I don't know. I hope not, but I haven't the time to wait to find out.
Well, where are you going?
The shadow is going to follow the secret passageway in the blueprints that will lead him to the murderers.
Dad, why don't you let me get you to a doctor?
No, son, it wouldn't be safe for you. Besides, I'm afraid it's too late. This wound is bleeding so much.
Oh, gee whiz, Dad, isn't there anything I can do?
Yes, Robert, there is. My plan of vengeance. You must carry it through. Knowing that, I can die happy. What was that?
The shadow!
I see you remember me, Mr. Lewis.
Hey, how did you get here?
Your blueprints were a great help.
Who is that man? I can't see him.
I am invisible to your eyes, Mr. John Dean, but I am familiar with all you have done.
He knows everything?
Yes, Dad. Everything.
Then he must know why I killed. And he'd sent me to prison. I was an innocent man. My wife died of a broken heart when they took me away. That is why I swore vengeance against Mr. Need.
Your reason for the crime is immaterial. You and your son must both pay for your crime.
No, not Robert. He mustn't suffer too.
He was your accomplice.
I see, Mr. Shadow. Then you forced me to change my plans. I have a charge of dynamite planted down here for just such an emergency as this. I'm about to die anyway. And if my son is to face the electric chair, I'd rather he went out with me, taking all others with us.
That would be incredibly foolish, Mr. Dean.
You're too late, Mr. Shadow. My son has slipped over to the plunger that will set off the charge.
Yes, how do you like that, Mr. Shadow?
Don't touch that dynamite, Lewis.
Go on, son. Now, the plunger. Now!
Yes! Nothing's happening.
No, I should have warned you that I discovered your dynamite and took the precaution of cutting the wires. I guess there's nothing left to do now, gentlemen, except to wait for the arrival of the police.
That certainly was an exciting story. The Shadow is brought to you by the Colgate-Palmolive Peet Company, makers of Halo Shampoo.
Everybody, halo, halo is the shampoo that glorifies your lips. So halo, everybody, halo. drink does your hair. Halo brings out the beauty the first time that you use it. You need no lemon rinsing after you use it. So Halo, everybody, Halo. Halo shampoo, Halo.
And now, a final word from The Shadow.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The shadow knows. Ha 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 ha!
What a thriller! Tune in again next week for another adventure of The Shadow. This is station WUSC 1825 on your radio dial. And now for our weekly visit with the Easy Aces.
Ladies and gentlemen, Easy Aces. I learned years ago not to tell my mother-in-law jokes. And besides, what happened to me this week with Jane's mother was no joke. It all started the other evening after dinner. I was reading the paper and Jane was writing a letter.
Oh my goodness, this doesn't look right. Dear, how do you spell right?
Right?
Yes, I'm answering my mother's letter, and I'm having one of my bad spells.
Yes. Which right do you mean? There's R-I-G-H-T and W-R-I-T-E. How are you using it? What's the word ahead of it?
Oh, the word ahead of it is last.
Oh, last right. That's R-I-T-E. What happened? Why? Who was it? How old was he?
No, dear. All I'm saying is, dear mother, I'm glad I found time to at last write you.
Oh, last right. Yes.
I'm answering this letter she sent me. Would you like to hear it?
What's the other choice?
Okay, I will. I'll get all the pages in order. 10, 11, 12. Here we are.
12 pages. They wrote the Declaration of Independence on one page.
Well, they had those quill pens then.
Look, John Hancock. Why don't you just condense what she says? And how's your mother?
Oh, fair to meddling. She says, dear, she writes so badly. Yes, dear Jane, how are you? How is your husband? I hope you are both well and happy. I'm as happy as can be expected since I've been living with your sister and her husband. Of course, I need a new upper plate, and I need a pair of new arch supports, and I could use a new hearing aid. The only thing I don't need is a pair of new glasses, and your sister has to be married to an optician. But you know me, I never complain. Even when your sister's husband opened the kitchen door in my face, I kept a stamp up her lamp. Your loving mother, Mother.
That's 12 pages?
P.S.
Oh, of course.
P.S. As I wrote you in my last letter, the doctor said the climate here is not good for me, and I should be near the seashore. So I'm asking you if it's all right to come visit you over the holidays.
Wait a minute. She lives in California. Why does she have to come to New York for the shore?
Dear, California's 3,000 miles from the ocean.
Oh, yeah. I never thought of that.
When was I? Oh, yes. If it isn't all right for me to come, I'll know it's not your fault, and you can tell him for me. Oh, I'll skip this part.
No. I want to hear that. And you can tell him for me what?
You can tell him for me that I wouldn't ask to come if you hadn't written me that he said he needed me.
When did I say that?
Last month. Don't you remember when I said, New York is so nice this time of year, I wish my mother was here. And you said, that's all I need is your mother.
Look, Jane. Here's what I want you to write her. Tell her that she could stay in California, and
Oh, wait a minute. I haven't finished reading the letter. Where was I? Oh, yes, that he needed me. I wish you would let me know right away if I can come, because I am desperate to get away from here. Because this is a matter of life and I can't read this last word. Oh, she says in the next sentence, please excuse the shanky handwriting, because we have just left Kansas City and the train is going real fast.
Oh, no. Isn't that awful? The next morning at breakfast, a telegram came from Pittsburgh. Arriving New York this afternoon at 3 o'clock your time. If it's too much trouble, don't bother meeting me at the station, as I will not have one of my fainting spells right in the middle of the station. And if I should, some stranger will probably find me eventually. And besides, I only have just the 3 bags in a small steamer trunk. Collect mother, love mother.
Well, I guess you're gonna be too busy to meet her, so I will.
Yes, I'm too busy. Have you broken the news to our maid yet that your mother's coming?
Mrs. Bell? Oh, she'll love Mother. They have so much that's common.
Yeah, I know. Everybody loves your mother. But you better break it to Mrs. Bell gently.
All right, Mrs. Bell.
What is it, Jane?
Can I see you a minute?
I'm busy, Jane. I'm listening to the radio.
Oh, well, when you're finished, will you come in?
Okay, Jane.
Listening to the radio? Is that all she does out there in the kitchen?
Well, she has her favorite radio programs. When she first came to work here, I promised her she could listen to the radio.
Okay, Jane, what is it? I was just listening to the story of Laura Winthrop, which poses the problem. Can a mother-in-law find happiness having 3 children and visit each one of them 4 months a year? Or will she have a better chance at happiness with 4 children and visit each one of them 3 months a year? How that mother-in-law has loused up Laura's life. They'll do it every time. What is it, Jane?
Well, Mrs. Bell, my mother-in-law...
Quiet, dear.
Yeah, quiet, dear. What is it, Jane?
Well, we're expecting a visitor.
Well, congratulations. Where's the cigar?
No, not that kind of a visitor. It's my mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law? Not for me.
Wait a minute, Mrs. Bell. It's not his mother-in-law, it's my mother.
Look, Jane, when I took this job here, you said there would be only 2 people. It's in my contract.
Contract? What kind of a contract?
I got it right here. I carry it around all the time. Here's clause 3. Party of the first part agrees that party of the second part will not have to wait on, serve, clean up after, cook for, make the beds of, and or empty ashtrays for more than 2 people at one time.
Who signed a thing like that? Not us.
I signed it.
You signed it.
I'm the one who empties the ashtrays, so why shouldn't I be the one who signs it?
But I didn't sign it.
Why should you? What do you do around here?
I'm the one that dirties the ashtrays. Without me, you'd have no job.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Well, I gotta get to work. See you later, Jane.
But dear, what are we going to do about Mrs. Bell?
You girls work that out between you. Goodbye, Jane. Bye, Mrs. Bell.
Now, Mrs. Bell...
There's no use talking, Jane. I'd like to work for you, as long as there's 2 of you, but if you're gonna ring in a party of the third part, I'm going to strike.
Wait a minute, Mrs. Bell. Where are you running to like a chicken with its head off?
Jane, which is it? Me or your mother? One of us has to go.
Well, after all, my mother is my own flesh and bones.
Okay, Jane, I'm on strike. I'm going downstairs and picket.
Picket?
I'll walk up and down in front of the apartment and tell everybody you're unfair. And you can finish ironing those shirts in there yourself while I picket.
All right, if you're gonna strike, do it now. Strike while the iron is hot.
Jane was having a problem at home with her maid, and I was having a problem with my secretary at the office, Miss Anderson. She's Jane's cousin, and I'm stuck with her. Around 2:30 that afternoon, Miss Anderson buzzed me on the inner office phone. She had just returned from her lunch hour and a half. Yes?
Mr. Ace, this is Miss Anderson.
Now, Miss Anderson, I think I've explained to you before that this is an inter-office phone, which connects your desk out there with mine in here. Nobody else uses this phone. There are no party lines, no extensions, and no coaxial cables. I know it's you, and if I answer, you know it's me. You don't have to say, Mr. Ace, this is Miss Anderson speaking. Just say what you gotta say and hang up quickly.
Are you quite finished?
What do you want?
Mr. Ace, if I weren't Jane's cousin, whom is your wife as well,
Whom is,
I would really resent that you misconstrue everything I say and do. And unless I am sadly misconstrued, you deliberately misconstrue everything I say and do.
There seems to be a lot of unnecessary misconstruing going on around here. What is this misconstrue business?
Learn a word a day by using it every way. It's in the newspaper every morning. Today's word is misconstrue. And if I choose to better my vocabulary, are you going to deliberately misconstrue that too?
Look, misconstrue. Look, Miss Anderson.
Every time I buzz you on this inter-office phone, we come to a complete misconstruction.
We do?
I always make a supreme effort to construe you. The least you can do is construe me.
Isn't that awful?
Answering an inter-office phone should in no way be misconstruable. Your misconstructive attitude is breaking down our whole construction.
Construction? What are you building up to? What did you call me for?
Jane is on the phone.
I construe you to... Put her on. What'd I go through here with that?
Hello?
Hello, Jane.
This is Jane.
I know who you are. You've been announced. I said, hello, Jane. Now, what is it?
Mrs. Bell is striking.
Oh, I wouldn't say striking. Attractive, maybe.
No, I mean she's striking. She says I'm unfair.
Oh, Jane, I think you're the fairest in the land.
You do, dear? Oh, you do not.
Yes, I do.
You do? Oh, you do not.
Yes, I do.
You do? Oh, you do not.
Okay, I don't.
I knew it wouldn't last.
Jane, what is it? What's on your mind?
I told you. Mrs. Bell went on a strike. She's picketing. She's walking to and from in front of the apartment. She's got a big sign that says Mrs. Ace is unfair. Don't you think that's terrible?
Yes, I do.
You do? Oh, you do not.
Now, don't start that again.
What shall I do about Mrs. Bell? I have to prepare dinner. She quit work, and I can't find the roasting pan. I looked high and dry. I can't find hide or seek of it. It's behind me where she put it.
Have you checked the refrigerator?
Refrigerator? Oh, stop being silly. I'll have to go downstairs and ask Mrs. Bell. But, dear, you'll have to go meet my mother at the station.
Me?
She gets in at 3 o'clock. Now, you be there.
Okay, Jane. I've got a full calendar of appointments and everything, but I have to drop everything and go meet your mother. This is certainly going to misconstrue up my whole day.
Do what?
Learn a word a day, use it every way. Goodbye, Jane. When I got to the station, I found the train would be 2 hours late. It seemed they had to back up at Altoona to pick up a car which had been uncoupled by a little old lady who had complained that the train was going too fast. And all the while I was waiting for her, Jane was down on the street in front of our apartment trying to find out where that roasting pan was.
Mrs. Ace is unfair to me. Mrs. Ace is unfair to me.
Mrs. Bell, for the last time, will you tell me where the roasting pan is?
In the refrigerator. Mrs. Ace is unfair to me.
Please, Mrs. Bell. People will hear you.
I want them to hear me. Mrs. Ace is unfair to me.
Do you have to holler it like that? That sign you're carrying says the same thing.
I have to holler it for the people who can't read. Mrs. Ace is unfair to me.
Well, you're unfair to me. You hid that roasting pan, and the least you can do is go in and find it so I can get dinner.
I can't go in now, Jane. I'm busy picketing. I gotta carry the sign.
Oh, all right. Give me the sign. I'll carry it.
Well, okay, Jane, but hold it up high.
Like this.
That's it, Jane. Way up high so everybody can see it. And you've got to talk it up.
What?
Keep saying, Mrs. Ace is unfair to maids.
Oh, all right. Mrs. Ace is unfair to maids. Mrs. Ace is unfair to maids.
Louder.
Want me to strain my yokel cords? Mrs. Ace is unfair to maids. Is that better?
That's the ticket, Jane. Keep walking and talking.
Mrs. Ace is unfair to maids. Mrs. Ace is unfair to maids. Well, why don't you go up and find the roasting pan?
I'm sorry, Jane, I can't. I can't cross a picket line.
Hey, what's going on, Jane?
Oh, hello, Ken. It's Ken Roberts, Mrs. Bell.
Hello, Mrs. Bell.
Hi, Ken.
What's the trouble here? What does this mean you are unfair to maids?
It's in my contract. I only have to serve 2 people, and now she rings a mother-in-law on me.
She's my mother, not mother-in-law. She's coming to visit me, and Mrs. Bell is on strike.
Oh, now wait a minute. You shouldn't strike about a thing like that. How about a little mediation?
Never touch a thing in the middle of the day.
No, Mrs. Bell. I mean, you can reach some agreement. Jane, can't you make some concession?
I can't make anything. I can't find the roasting pan.
No, you don't understand, Jane. I mean, you can bargain collectively, like this. Mrs. Bell, suppose Mrs. Ace gave you something extra for the extra person. Would that be all right?
Something extra? Like what?
Well, let me see. You don't live with the Aces, now do you, Mrs. Bell?
No, I have a room. I pay rent.
Well, if they gave you a room to live in with them, that would save you rent. Would that be okay, Mrs. Bell?
Oh, sure, Ken.
Well, how about it, Jane?
What? What happened? I wasn't listening. I just noticed on this sign she's got Mrs. Ace in smaller letters than maids. That's unfair.
Jane, Mrs. Bell says if you'll give her a room with you, she'll come back to work.
We only have one guest room. My mother was gonna sleep in there.
Mrs. Ace is unfair.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't say no. Now, let me see. If you took that guest room, my mother could sleep with me. And then he could have the couch in the living room. It is a little small. Yes, I guess it would be all right. Okay, Mrs. Bell.
Okay, Jane, that's a deal. Shake on it.
What?
Shake hands on it.
Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Bell?
The Easy Aces will be back in a few minutes, but now let's listen to a littling Irish tune, How Are Things in Glockamora, sung by the lovely Miss Colleen O'Hara.
How are things in Glockamora? Is that little brook still weeping there? Does it still run down to Donny Cove, through Killybegs, Kilkerry and Kildare? How are things in Glockamora? Is that willow tree still weeping there? Does that laddie with a twinkling eye come whistling by? And does he walk away, sad and dreamy there, not to see me there? So I ask each weeping willow and each brook along the way, and each lad that comes a whistling to our lane. How are things in Glockamora this fine day?
Thank you, Colleen, for that lovely touch of Ireland. And now back to Easy Aces. Well, I finally got them all home. The old lady and 3 other bags. I mean, 3 bags in the steamer trunk. We got home rather late. We had a little trouble in the taxi. She wanted to uncouple the meter because we were going too fast. And then she asked me if we got a telegram, and I said no. I always go down to Penn Station and watch the trains come in. And all the way home, she kept saying what a lucky coincidence it was. And I kept telling myself she'll only be here till after the holidays. When we got home, Jane was so happy to see her.
Oh, Mother, I'm so happy to see you.
Happy? If it makes you happy to be happy, you be happy.
How was the train trip, Mother?
I got train sick. I should have taken a plane.
Well, why didn't you?
I get plane sick.
Well, why didn't you stay home?
What did you say?
I said, did you have nice accommodations on the train?
Oh, yes, very nice. My daughter, who I was staying with, and California's husband, got me a very nice compartment.
Oh, that's nice, Mother.
They must have told the conductor to take good care of me, because every time the train came to a station, he locked me in my compartment.
How's everything in California?
Ethel writes me they're very happy out there.
Happy. Everybody's happy.
Mother, don't you want to lie down before dinner? Take a little sneeze?
Oh, you don't have to bother about me, Janie. I won't be a bother. I've never been a bother. You can ask your sister. I never bothered her. She never bothered about me. What can you expect from children? So if it's going to be any bother, don't bother, because I don't want to be a bother.
Is that the word for today?
Oh, Mother, you misconstrued
That's
me.
the word.
It won't be a bother. I won't have to bother. We got a maid that bothers, Mrs. Bell. I'll call her. Mrs. Bell.
What do you want, Jane?
Can you come in a minute and meet my mother?
Just a minute, Jane.
You've got a maid now, Janie?
Yes, Mrs. Bell.
Our maid's expensive, I suppose.
Well...
Yeah, Jane, here I am.
Oh, come in, Mrs. Bell. This is my mother, Mrs. Sherwood, Mrs. Bell.
I'm pleased to meet you, Mrs. Bell.
Hello, Mom. I'm happy to meet you.
Happy? Everybody's happy. With your money, I'd be happy, too.
What?
Mrs. Bell, Mother has to have something special for dinner.
Special? Like what?
I don't want to be any bother. If it's going to be a bother, don't bother. Just a boiled egg, that's all.
A boiled egg? That's all you want for dinner?
That's all. On top of the spinach.
Spinach? What spinach?
The spinach that goes to the boiled tongue.
Boiled tongue? We haven't any boiled tongue.
We're having a roast for dinner, Mother.
Well, I'll take roast. I don't want to be a bother. There are only a few things I'm allowed to eat. Tongue, roast chicken, hamburger steak, veal chops, duck, and once in a while, a little corned beef and cabbage.
What can't you eat?
Peanut brittle. But if it makes you happy to have peanut brittle, be happy. I don't want to be a bother.
Come on, Mother. I'll show you to your room, and you can lie down a while.
All right, Janie. Maybe I'd better rest a while.
We'll have dinner late, Mother, so you can rest. We'll eat any time you want to.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me, Janie. I'm never hungry. What time is it now?
5:15.
All right. So wake me up at 5:30. But if it's going to be a bother, don't bother. I don't want to be a bother.
You see, Mrs. Bell, she doesn't want to be a bother, and it's only till after the holidays.
Oh, don't worry about me. I'll be able to handle Laughing Girl.
I'm happy to hear you say that, Mrs. Bell.
If it makes you happy to be happy.
Oh, no, not you too. Well, I want to tell you something. It did my heart good to see that sweet little old lady pack away that dinner. Because if she packs it away like that 3 times a day, she'll never last till after the holidays. I still didn't know about this arrangement Jane had made for Mrs. Bell to live with us. I should have suspected something when we were sitting around the living room after dinner, and Mrs. Bell had finished the dishes, and she walked in, sat next to me on the love seat, put her feet up on the coffee table, took out a cigarette, and turned to me and said,
How's about a match, dear?
"What?
A match?
Oh, yeah, here.
Oh, I didn't tell you, did I, dear?
Tell me what?
Mrs. Bell is gonna live with us while Mother's here.
Gonna live with us?
She was on strike, and Ken Roberts made up the meditation.
Meditation?
Yes, you know. When 2 people disagree, they have to meditate. So Mrs. Bell is gonna live with us.
Just a minute. Let me meditate on that.
$30 a week, and she lives here besides.
But Jane, we only have one guest room.
A very good question, dear. And the answer is the living room couch.
What about the living room couch?
Well, Somebody has to sleep on the couch.
I think I'll go to my room and lie down.
Room.
Just a minute, Mom. We're still meditating.
We certainly are. Who sleeps on the couch? That's what I want to know.
Now, just a minute, dear. Don't jump at convulsions. Let's figure it out. We'll put our heads together.
That's just fine. That puts you and me in our bedroom.
Yes. Now, Mother takes the guest room, and Mrs. Bale sleeps on the couch.
Not me, Jane.
With the money you make, you can get a penthouse at the Waldorf.
Well, now wait a minute. We'll figure out another way. Dear, you and Mrs. Bale will. No, that won't do. Dear, if you and Mother. No, that won't do. Well, Mother and Mrs. Bale.
Oh, no!
No, that won't do. Don't worry, dear. I'll figure it out. Mrs. Bale doesn't want to sleep on the couch, and Mother can't sleep on the couch, and I go without saying. So that leaves...
No.
But, dear, it's only till after the holidays.
Yeah, dear. Only till after the holidays.
Only till after the holidays. Isn't this awful? Well, all right. I don't want to be a bother. And if I'm going to be a bother, don't bother bothering. I'll sleep on the couch.
You see, dear, it was so simple.
Yes, I am. Mother, you are going back after the holidays, aren't you, Mother?
Yes, I got my return ticket already.
You wouldn't mind showing it to me, would you?
If it'll make you happy to see it, here, be happy. There's the ticket. You can see the return date is punched on it.
Where?
Right there, July 5th.
July 5th? Jane, you said only till after the holidays.
Yes. Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, Washington's birthday, Lincoln's birthday, April Fool's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Decoration Day.
Yes, till Doomsday. Isn't that awful?
Welcome back to Station WUSC. Stay tuned here for the best in local and network programming. Well, it's always fun to visit with the Easy Aces and share in their zany adventures. And speaking of zany, it's time to go to the studios in Hollywood, California for the weekly broadcast of the Radio Comedy Hour starring Burns and Allen, Fanny Bryce as Baby Stokes, and that funny man, Fred Allen.
Welcome to Hollywood and tonight's presentation of the Radio Comedy Hour. Guys, want to meet girls? And you girls, want to meet guys? Then listen to this.
You wonder where the other went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent, Pepsodent, Pepsodent.
And now here's George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Well, Gracie, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. What'll I do now?
Well, just make something up, you know.
Oh, all right. I'll make up a riddle. I'll give you 3 chances, and if you can't guess it, you win.
If I can't guess it, I win. Well, what happens if I guess it?
Well, then it's a tie.
It's a tie. Now, just a minute, Gracie. This one's on me. If a fellow's in a restaurant and he orders spinach, mashed potatoes, and cheesecake, how did I know he was a soldier?
Oh, is that the one where the fellow had on a uniform? Yeah, that's very good, George. Tell that one.
Gracie, what I'd like to know is, how do I allow myself to get mixed up into these things?
Oh, that's very funny, George. Now I'll make up one. Not only can I make up riddles, George, but I can also tell you what you're thinking about. I'm a mind reader.
Listen, Gracie, is there anything that faces you?
I don't think so.
No,
Now think of something.
all right, I'm thinking.
Is it green?
Is what green?
Does it hang from the ceiling and whistle?
Does what hang from the ceiling and whistle?
Does it run along the floor and sing?
Listen.
Does it climb up sofas and do the split?
Just a minute, I thought you said you could read my mind.
Well, George, how can I read your mind if you keep on asking me all those silly questions?
I'm asking you. Listen, let's talk about something else. Well, Gracie, I'm sorry to hear about your missing brother.
Oh, that's too bad, George, because my brother's missing too.
The only difference between you and me is that I have the power of mind over matter, and you have no mind, and it doesn't seem to matter.
I'll bet you tell that to all the girls.
Oh, never mind. I still like to know, how is your brother?
My brother? Oh, well, I think they ought to open up all the prisons. It would help prosperity.
Wait a minute. That's the wrong answer.
No, that's the right answer, but you asked the wrong question.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Thank you, Gracie. Thank you, George. And now here's another gal. A little gal. An ornery little gal. Fanny Bryce as baby Snooks.
Snooks? Look at the mess in this parlor. The vase is broken, ink on the carpet, the window is smashed. Did you do this?
No. Don't look down at your feet, Snooks. Look at my face when you answer me. Who made this mess?
Nursey done it, Daddy.
Why, Snooks, you know Nursey is off today.
Yeah, but she came back and done it. I seen her, Daddy.
You did, huh? Well, why is your dress covered with ink?
She spilled ink on me too, Daddy.
Snooks, you know that Nursey went out of town this morning to visit her sick sister. She couldn't possibly have come back.
I forgot. She done it yesterday.
Yesterday, the room was in perfect shape. Now, Snooks, tell me the truth. How did this mess happen? Why did you break that vase?
I had to do it, Daddy.
You had to? Why?
On account of the 3 rattlesnakes.
What 3 rattlesnakes?
What did you say, Daddy?
You said you had to break the vase on account of 3 rattlesnakes.
Yeah, Daddy. They came into the parlor and I killed them.
Snooks, you know you're not telling the truth.
Well, maybe it was only 2 rattlesnakes.
Now listen, Snooks, I've had enough of this. I want you to tell me the truth. You understand? The truth. The truth.
What did you say, Daddy?
If you tell me the truth, I won't punish you. Now promise me you won't fib anymore.
All right, Daddy.
Now what happened?
I took out the ink bottle to write a letter. And a big lion jumped in through the window and scared me.
A lion jumped through the window and scared you.
Yeah, that's how the window got broke.
Even if a lion did jump through the window, why did the pieces of glass fall on the outside?
Well, the lion jumped in backwards.
Go on.
So I ran into the other corner, and there was 4 lions. And they all jumped on me, Daddy.
And then what happened?
I got killed.
Honest, Snooks, I don't know what to do with you. Will you ever tell the truth?
I'll tell you the truth, Daddy.
Do you promise?
Cross my heart.
All right. Now, how could you tell me such stories about lions? You know, you've never even seen a lion.
I did so, Daddy.
Where did you see a lion?
Mrs. Smith has one next door, and that's the one that come in.
Mrs. Smith has a lion? You know very well that's nothing but a little yellow dog. Now I want you to kneel down and pray for forgiveness for telling so many fibs.
All right.
That's it. Pray to the Lord to make you an honest child.
All right, I'm finished, Daddy.
Did you pray?
Uh-huh. And the Lord said, I forgive you, Miss Snooks. First time I looked at that little yellow dog, I thought he was a lion, too.
How would you like raising her? I bet her daddy is prematurely gray. And now here's another nice tune. Don't Blame Me, as sung by Miss Bridget Brookbank. Bridget?
Don't blame me for falling in love with you. I'm under your spell, but how can I help it? Don't blame me. Can't you see when you do the things you do? If I can't conceal the thrill that I'm feeling, don't blame me. I can't help it if that doggone moon above sweet as a kiss can be, and blame all the charms that melt in my arms, but don't blame me.
That was great, Miss Brookbank. Thank you. And now,
Mr. Allen,
what was that?
Mr. Allen.
Someone calling?
Well, sir, as I live and walk around all bent over, not knowing whether I've got lumbago or whether my suspenders are pulled up too tight. If it isn't Portland.
I've brought you a present.
Oh, for little old wrinkled me?
Yes, these 2 packages are for you.
Well, thanks. What's in them?
This one has the last 10 pages of Gone with the Wind.
The last 10 pages?
Yes, and this one has the last 20 pages of Anthony Adverse.
The last 20?
Yes, last week you said you'd like some bookends, so I tore the ends out of 2 books.
That's nice, Portland. Tell me, how's your mother these days?
Mama's farsighted. She has to stand in the middle of the street to see what's in the windows.
Why doesn't she just get a telescope and shop out the attic window?
Well, it's all right. She only wanted some tweezers, and I bought them.
Tweezers, eh? Are you saving the price of an Easter rabbit plucking your own hairs?
No, Smarty. Papa sat down on a rose bush yesterday, and some of the thorns are missing.
It'll take more than tweezers to get anything out of Papa.
I wish you'd quit picking on him.
Somebody's got to pick on him if you expect to get some of those thorns back.
Papa has the worst luck, hasn't he?
He can't even go by a chiropodist office without putting his foot into it, can he?
Oh, well, he expects to make a lot of money this summer.
How, using 3 different names on relief?
No. Papa's making a list of every hot dog stand in the country.
What's he gonna do, bootleg mustard?
No. He's gonna open stands half a mile past the hot dog places and sell bicarbonate.
Let's take a walk down Allen's Alley and see what we can find out tonight. Here we are at Mrs. Nussbaum's house.
Hello?
Mrs. Nussbaum.
Are you expecting maybe Tula Lula Lula Bankhead?
Tell me, Mrs. Nussbaum, how are things in your house?
Mine husband Pierre is sick.
Oh, really?
They are maybe sending him to a clinic. The Mayo brothers.
Oh, the Mayo brothers. Didn't he try any cold remedies?
Every day it's a new remedy. First, he is bringing home fruit to drinking fruit juices.
What kind?
Oranges, grapefruits, tambourines.
Well, how long did he drink the fruit juices?
1 day.
Uh-huh.
Then Pierre is opening up the window and throwing out the fruit.
Oh, he had another remedy?
Vitamins from vegetables.
Oh, good.
He is bringing home carrots, stringala beans, and rutabagas.
How long did he try vitamins?
1 day.
1 day again.
Pierre is opening up the window and throwing out the vegetables.
He had yet another remedy?
Absolute rest. He is staying in bed.
Uh-huh.
I'm bringing meals, I'm bringing pills, I'm bringing hot water bottles.
Well, how long did this last?
1 day.
And then?
I am opening up the window and throwing out Pierre. So long.
Let's see what Titus Moody has to say. Good evening, Mr. Moody.
Howdy, bub.
Tell me, Mr. Moody, what's on your mind tonight?
Farms don't need men no more. Machines does all the work.
Machinery, eh?
But all a man could do with his hands on a farm today is scratch himself.
Do you use machinery?
I bought a big machine. 'Twas called the Jumbo Hired Man.
It did all the work?
It had 4 iron hands on it for milking cows.
I see.
It had a suction thing for picking eggs up out of nests.
Uh-huh.
It had 2 big arms for thrashing wheat.
Yes.
On the side it had 2 big clippers for clipping sheep.
How is the jumboed hired man working out?
First day I turned it on, everything went wrong.
The milking hands?
The 4 hands started picking up eggs and putting them into the cows.
No kidding.
The suction thing started trying to milk the chickens.
Gosh.
The 2 big thrashing arms started beating the cookies out of me.
Jeepers.
The 2 big sheep clippers clipped off my wife's hair.
Your wife was completely bald?
She left town with an eagle.
Are you still using this jumboed hired man?
Nah, I threw out the cow, the chickens, and the whole contraption.
I see.
I bought an adding machine.
What can you raise on your farm with an adding machine?
Rabbits. So long, bub.
Next, let's see how Ajax Cassidy is doing.
Well, how do you do?
Ajax, I heard you were sick.
I was at death's door. Luckily, I didn't have strength enough to knock.
You were bad, eh?
The doctor gave me a big bottle of corduroy pills.
Uh-huh.
After every meal, the doctor said to swallow 1 pill and drink a small glass of whiskey.
Swallow 1 pill and drink a small glass of whiskey.
Aye, after every meal.
How is the treatment coming along?
Well, I'm a little behind with the pills.
Good night, Ajax. The senator's home. I think I'll knock and see what happens.
Somebody, I say somebody knocked.
Yes, I
Claghorn's the name, Senator Claghorn, that is.
I know, you're from the
I
South.
won't go into a room unless it's got southern exposure.
Well,
the only train I ride is the Chattanooga Choo-Choo.
Just a minute.
The sun shines bright in my old Kentucky
Now,
home.
wait a minute.
I'm singing my old Kentucky home, son.
I know.
Son, bend down and kiss my Jefferson Davis button.
Now, just a minute.
Stop interrupting. Where's your manners?
Manners? I haven't
I'll
been...
try listening. You might learn something.
Listen, all I'll ever learn
Your
from
tongue's
you
wagging
is...
like a blind dog's tail in a meat market.
You're winded, eh?
Just sucking in some air, son.
Well, leave a little. I'm breathing too, you know. Tell me, Senator, what is Washington doing about cold prevention?
The Senate, I say the Senate reconvened just in time.
Yeah?
And I was glad to see Senator Aiken back.
That's
Get it?
so?
Aiken back. That's a joke, son.
I know it's a
It
joke.
was a Swanee side splitter.
I wouldn't
It was
say
a
a side
Shreveport
split.
sleeker.
Listen, you don't know what it is.
I keep tossing them and you just sidestep them.
Now look, now wait a
Now
minute.
you're a regular sad sack. Sack, that is.
Now you wait a minute. Tell me, cool off now just a second. Do you have any favorite cure for a cold?
I caught a cold last week.
Yeah?
Like to ruin my filibuster.
Ruin your filibuster, eh? What did you do?
I took an old southern remedy, son. I drank down 2 buckets of hot mint julep.
You drank 2 buckets of hot mint juleps and you still held the floor?
Held the floor. Son, I couldn't get up off it. So long.
So long. Well, I guess that's it for this week's trip to Allen's Alley. Good night, folks.
Good night, folks. Tune in again next week for the Radio Comedy Hour, brought to you by Pepsodent Toothpaste.
Well, that's it, folks. It's almost time to sign off. Thank you for tuning in. We've had fun spending this evening with you. Until next time, take care, pleasant dreams, and good night from all of us here at Station WUSC, 1825 on your radio dial. Good night.